Jordan Stillwell here for your Stillwell Racing with PR weekly wrap-up. We had a lot of racing this weekend. Most of it was on Friday night and last night, and we're going to recap our entire week of racing. So we're going to kick it off on Friday night at Ace Speedway, where we had Jacob Bradley and Caleb Bradley, Redhead Racing in action. Jacob came home with a third-place finish, and Caleb came home with a fourth-place finish right behind Jacob. Jacob was actually able to run with the leaders for the most part of the race. Then towards the end of the race, looked like the car got a little tight and kind of lost some ground at the end. But Jacob put up a solid fight with the two leaders, who put on a heck of a race and an exciting finish in that race at Ace Speedway. Moving up to the northeast, where we had Seekonk Speedway in action, we had Connor Souza, Giovanni Ruggiero, and then Joel and Isaiah Newcomb in action at that track. Connor finished third place in the outlaw class. He's been running really well here lately, and coming from the back to the front like he has to every week. Got trapped behind a car he couldn't get around towards the end, ends up with a third place finish. So he continues his run of solid finishes and good performances up at his home track in Rhode Island. Moving into the Bandit race, where we had Isaiah, Joel, and Giovanni all stacked in, ready to go. Giovanni gets the nod over Joel and Isaiah as far as a group run, and finishing in a second place. Another second place finish for him that comes off of a win last week. Joel ends up 9th, and Isaiah ends up 11th, which was the final finishing spot for the race. I'm not exactly sure what exactly happened to Joel and Isaiah in the race. I'm believing Isaiah spun, maybe crashed. I'm not 100% sure. Maybe didn't get to run his feature. So hopefully we'll get more info, Paul. Let us know. But everybody's doing better. Isaiah's getting faster every time, and he's looking like a strong contender. And once he's able to put together a full race, he's really going to be really strong up at Seekonk, along with Gio. So that was all the racing for the weekend. There was no racing, as far as I've heard, on Saturday. So we're going to head right into what happened last night. First thing that you need to know is that there was no Bandolero racing last night. So all the bandos were washed. I think the beginners got their heat race in, but nobody got to run their features. So that means Luke Morey, Skylar Cheney, Lucas Vera, and Carter Russo are all going to have to make up races at a later date, whether it be next week or the week after. So there's no bando racing last night. So it was all legend cars. So we had Trent Injustice kicking it off in the Young Lion class for us. Trent wound up with a 13th place finish, bouncing back after having an almost turmoil end of the night as he run into a car that had already spun out. Kind of nowhere to go for him, but he's able to survive the feature and end up with a 13th place finish. And Justice also had a near turmoil into the night as well. As a couple cars spun out in front of him. He split one and then run right into the other one, had nowhere to go. Luckily for him, it only tore up just a bumper and offset the toe a little bit. He's able to come back for a 9th place finish in the rain for the Young Lion race. And then to finish the night off, we had the semi-pro class where we had Garrett, Tristan, and Cole all in action. Cole qualified in the 6th or 7th spot, ended up starting the race 6th, and very quickly made his presence felt because he was there at the front of the pack at the start of the race. I think he was running 2nd or 3rd. He was running 3rd. I think he got up to 2nd and then blew up. So Cole ends up with a very disappointing 25th place finish after having such a strong start to the race. So more motor problems for Cole. He's got a giant monkey on his back, more like an ape or a gorilla, more so than a monkey at this point. Hopefully Cole can finally get through everything and put together a whole race that proves where he should finish. So hopefully next week will be better. Tristan had a solid run today, last night. I had a little bit of ignition box problems. I think the ignition box broke about halfway through the race. We were able to get it fixed, send him back out, and he drove all the way back up into the top 10, was racing for 6th, I believe, and then made some contact with another driver, ended up resulting with that driver getting spun out, and Tristan was put behind him in the race order at the end. Black flag for that. More of a racing deal, I believe, than anything. Both of them were kind of racing really hard for that spot. and it was close quarters. There's a car behind Tristan, so Tristan ended up with a 19th place finish instead of a top 10. A little disappointing for him, but he's looking really strong as well and improves every week. And the big story, I guess, out of our camp would be Garrett Lowe, who comes off of not racing last week because of prior iRacing obligations. He comes off with a third place finish after starting 15th. The rain qualifying didn't do Garrett any favors, but through all the chaos and mayhem, he was able to find the bottom line before anybody else was last night, and he made a couple incredible 3-wide passes en route to a top 3 finish, putting it all together for Garrett. And I believe, looking at our historical stats, being a young team, at least in the legend car department, Garrett is the first driver on the team to collect a top 5 finish in a legend car event at the summer shootout outside of myself. So Garrett becomes the second person to score a top 5 finish for Stillwell Racing with PR at the Bojangles summer shootout in our entire history, which is pretty cool for Garrett. So but Tristan's getting really close to those top 5 finishes, and Cole's going to put together a race, and it's going to be a really good run for him as well. We at any point during the night last night in the semi-pro feature, we had at least one driver in the top 10, which is pretty cool for us to say, because that semi-pro class is super tough to win in, and even to run in the top 10 is chaos and craziness for 25 laps, and to be able to get into a top 5, let alone get a win in that series, it takes a lot of luck and skill and crash avoidance. So that kind of wrapped up our night. We're going to kind of give a little bit of a shout out to a couple of our outside drivers. Casey Kerwin in the iRacing Peak Antifreeze series, he was up to 14th at Sonoma. Ended up getting wrecked out. Ended his night. I know he's really disappointed. I guess that by the end of it all, he wished he was rather at the speedway working rather than racing and getting wrecked. Probably not, but Casey's going to get it turned around for his Peak Antifreeze series here and put together a string of finishes, I believe, and do better. Casey will do good. And then a special shout out to now Stillwell Racing with PR alumni, Cole Bruce. Cole Bruce finally put together a complete day after starting on the pole in the Dominion Racer division at Dominion Raceway. He's able to put together a win in the second feature. So Cole Bruce finally gets himself a win in a late model. So congratulations to Cole from everybody here at Stillwell Racing with PR, even my dad. Congratulations, Cole. Good job. We're proud of you, and we're extremely proud to see that you're doing better and you're improving every time you hit the racetrack since you've moved out of the Bandolero. So good job, Cole. As far as everybody here at Stillwell Racing, we're greatly appreciative to all of our partners in on this program, Pat Rogers being one, Butler Built Seats being another. We're just incredibly excited to see how our drivers progress throughout the rest of the season and the rest of this summer as well, as we got a couple of drivers. And Landrum Springs, I don't want to leave out Landrum Springs as a great business partner, and Bill Stein. So thank you guys so much for tuning in today. And please enjoy the rest of your race week, and good luck to everybody down in Atlanta tomorrow. So Atlanta race tomorrow. So that's everything that I got here at Stillwell Racing with PR. Always tune in, like the page. Please share the video. Let's try to get this thing to go viral and see what we can do. If you have to, send it to ESPN. That'd be awesome. Send one of our other videos in ESPN, not me talking. The other videos are much cooler. All right, guys. See you later.